Here is my audience. Marijuana is a big issue in our world today. Some people hate it and some people use it every day. Well, I for one am not a fan and never will be. Some people think it should be legalized in Nebraska, but I don't agree. So that leads me into my first question for my audience here. Okay, Mike, do you think marijuana should be legalized, yes or no, and why?
No, because it's the gateway drug to harder drugs. It's been my experience in over 30 years of law enforcement that marijuana, like I said, is the gateway drug and it leads to harder drugs. And I just believe that it's an opportunity for people to get themselves in more trouble.
Do you like this topic? Yes or no, and how does it affect people?
Well, it's a topic that we have to talk about because, states like Colorado and Washington have legalized it for recreational use, and it's created a lot of problems for law enforcement in particular, especially in the states surrounding those states. But really, it's created a national problem where, it's against federal law to use marijuana in any way, shape, or form, but yet here we have states who are trying to supersede federal law and are allowing their citizens to use it, and again, it's creating problems for many people in many age groups.
Chris, do you think marijuana should be legalized, yes or no, and why?
I really don't want to see it legalized in Nebraska. The only issue I would have possibly is if you had a need for medical use of marijuana. If I had a child, though, or somebody that was close to me that needed to use this for medical treatment, I would be willing to travel. But I really don't want it in the state where I live.
Yeah. Sandra, do you think marijuana should be legalized, yes or no, and why?
No, I do not, because like Mike said, I just think it'll lead to somebody doing harder drugs. It's opening the door to make them try more, and I don't agree with even the marijuana.
Okay. Becca, how does marijuana affect people?
Well, I think it probably just puts them in a different state of mind. Like, they're not their right self. I hear it makes you do loose, like, crazy things, like, not normal. I am guessing it affects you just like alcohol.
Alrighty, and what type of punishment do you think should be done when a person is caught with marijuana?
Well, I definitely think they need harder punishment because a fine really doesn't do a lot for you. I mean, it's just money. Maybe like a couple days in jail. I feel like I'd learn better being in jail than just giving away money.
True. Alright, Mike, back to you. Do you think there should be a tougher punishment if someone is caught with marijuana, and why?
Yeah, I do, because I've seen the fact that it used to be just a $100 fine to possess marijuana in Nebraska under an ounce, and we've moved it to $300, and that was mostly done to show that it is a negative, just like those minors that drink, and when the fine was more for them. I think it is, again, the gateway drug. It leads to harsher, more dangerous drugs, whether it be legal or even prescription drugs. And I believe that we need to show that we mean business, and we do need to make it a more severe punishment. I like the idea of either a very stiff fine or even possibly jail time for first-time offenders, because otherwise I just don't think we get the message across.
And do you people foresee it being legalized here? Do you foresee it, like, in a couple years, it'll be eventually legalized?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be legal in Nebraska, if not probably all 50 states. But again, what it really comes down to is it is against federal law and federal authorities. If our President Obama would get off his butt and do something about it, we would be able to put a stop to it right now.
All right.
It's my closing.
Well, I personally think marijuana should not be legalized here in Nebraska. I think the punishment should be harsher because I know a person who got caught with it, and I think, oh, it's just money, I think they should be put in jail, like Becca said, because some people, they have all the money in the world. Like, $300, that's no problem. So I don't think the fine is high enough, so people aren't going to get it through their head that it can ruin your life someday. Here is my audience.